what's everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. The podcast, Rolling Stone says, initiates profound discussions with rock and metal artists, allowing fans to discover the creative workflow of their favorite musicians and understand the factors that make the band succeed or fall from fame. We're also sponsored by Dark Vision Systems, the best for your custom computing needs. $100 off your entire bill. Go to UPod at darkvision.com. Link description of the podcast below. Now it's time for a feature presentation. We're going to get alternative and grunge on you with the brand new band Return to Dust. Well, they're not brand new. They've been around for a little bit, but they released their debut LP this year back in May. And since then, they have really gotten a great foothold, playing every single DWP Fest this year and going on tour with Chevelle later this summer, which is going to be probably touring right now, so make sure you go and see them, and touring with the almighty Sevendust later in the year. So we talk about how this happened, how they got on these tours, how the music speaks for itself, and just why you should check out this band that can cross generations. Are you guys ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast, we have three guys right here that you may have heard of, you may not have heard of, but you should know them as of this moment because this is why. They have their self-titled debut album pretty much that came out on May 3rd. I think it was this debut album. I know they came out with an EP last year, but you know what? Full-length LP as of May 3rd. They've played not only Rockville, not only Sonic Temple this year, but they'll be at every other DWP Fest. And if you like alternative, if you like grunge, if you like bands like Deftones, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, The Cure, even Cage the Elephant, this band is for you. Plus, you can see them live this year touring with Chevelle and probably the band that is one of the most respected bands in the industry, who you should see every time you get a chance to see them, which is Sevendust, are these guys right here. So please welcome Maddie, Graham, and Sebastian, the band Return to Dust, the podcast. So gentlemen, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, man.
Jesus.
Awesome fucking intro, man.
Yeah, that was an awesome.
Dude, I'm just like, I'm running this intro up top, man. I'm like, okay, what sounds cool? Let's just go with this bing, bang, boom. But you guys gave me a whole lot to work with just with what you've done over the past 12 months. So it really wasn't hard to come up with something that epic.
Cool, man. Yeah, we're riding into battle right now.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, one thing I've been really surprised with you guys, especially because I think I started hearing your name a little bit more earlier in 2024 at the beginning of the year. Then all of a sudden it was like every time I looked somewhere, you guys' name was popping up. It popped up on the Louder Than Life lineup. All of a sudden Chevelle was coming around and you guys popped up on support for that. Sevendust doing a season's anniversary tour later in the fall, and you guys popped up on that. I'm like, how the hell did this all happen? Where did this band come from? But more importantly, why do more people know about this? But now we get the chance to bring in more people to you guys. So what's been this ride like the past, like, let's say 12 months or even just all of 2024 up to this point?
Dude, I think everything happens like in a big like moment, you know, like a big wave. It's like you do all this work in preparation for these moments where like a lot of opportunities hit you at the same time. You know, you're not busy until you're too busy. You know what I mean? Like, so it's been a lot of, you know, like writing this album, like recording this album, recording more songs on top of that, getting the live show tight, getting the image down, getting the music videos shot. Like, yeah, everything had to be like all congruent and work together before we could finally show it to people. And now that we're showing it to people, you know, all this hard work that we've been putting in is kind of paying off with all these opportunities that are kind of falling into our lap, which is very gratifying to feel. But also all happens at once. So it's like, that's how, you know, you see any other band and it's like, it looks like an overnight success, but it's like, no, it's like it happened. It's been happening for a long time. So that's kind of how it feels. I'm just ready for it. You know, I'm ready to get on the road, ready to play these festivals. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Let's say it seems like kind of like that exponential growth that no one really sees, because it's like you're going, you start to pick up momentum, and all of a sudden it's like everything happens all at once. But I've talked to many bands about this. It's putting in the work to get to that point, just so that when the opportunities start rolling in or these chances start rolling in, you can take them and you have the backing behind not only, you know, your team, your fans, but other people in the industry as well, that, hey, You should be on these festivals. You should be opening for these other bands. You should be getting these chances to really show everybody who you are because of all the work you've put in and because of the way you've been able to use your music to connect with fans across many different genres, but at the same time, many different ages as well. From people that are getting into music now, people that are younger, or people that remember some of those older sounds from like the 90s and the grunge era, because listening to your music, you definitely have a huge influence on that. But then there's this freshness to it at the same time too, that a lot of younger fans, a lot of newer fans can really latch onto. So it's a band that can cross generations with just the sound itself.
Yeah, totally. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
We have people of like mostly younger people that are bringing like their parents along to shows, and it's like, you know, my dad loves Alice in Chains, so he'll like this band right here. And I think that's just such a cool thing to see, is like really this kind of sound that really pulls people in, like nostalgic wise, like transcends like all generations, you know. It's like everyone universally likes this kind of music, which is just cool. And I really feel like our generation didn't get to experience you know, like big like concert culture and like rock music in its fullest, and just, you know, the whole 90s grunge era was just such a huge movement for live music and rock music in general, and we completely missed that. And that's why you see like all these bands popping up now that are like heavy shoegaze, that are super inspired by like Deftones and like My Bloody Valentine and stuff. It's like kids miss that, like they miss that like genuity and like rawness in music, and they want it to come back. So I just feel like we're like at the spear point of that, which is like, you know, we're prepared and ready to like bring that to whoever, like across the world, you know. And it's just a super exciting feeling that we've like set ourselves up for.
And you're seeing how it's come across too, where people are bringing their parents to shows, and the younger generation is able to latch on you guys because it has the rawness that they're looking for. Because since, you know, let's say mid 2000s, you know, when especially with rock music or alternative music, where pop punk was the big thing, emo was the big thing. Beyond that, everything got very synthesized, very produced, very polished, and you really didn't see that raw, emotional, or just raw sounding music really come to the forefront. But music, a lot of times, you know, with different concepts, it's like fashion where things come and go in style. Think about new metal too. New metal ideas have come back roaring in you know, rock and metal as well, where 10, 15 years ago, it was like the dirtiest term you could possibly utter. And a band, if they had the idea of they were potentially new metal, it's like, oh my God, we don't want that. No. But you're getting these kids that get into this stuff, and they're finding your band and they're latching onto it. But then when they're bringing their parents overall, their parents remember like what it was back in the 90s. So they're getting that nostalgia trip as well. So people from different generations are latching your band for the same sound for completely different reasons. Plus, now with you guys going out later in the year with Chevelle and Sevendust, now you're going to see more of the older generation get to experience your band for the first time in a space where, you know, it's going to be a lot more of them, and you guys get to play to a whole different crowd and really gain a lot more fans in that capacity. And on that side, where the other way, you guys are still sticking with, you know, the younger crowd and continue to build up both sides at once. There's not many bands that have multiple generations that you can build up a fan base from at the same time.
What do you think about like you got into the same music as like your dad, like because your dad put you onto the same like heavy music, you know? Like how did you feel like going to concerts like for, you know, like Metallica and Razor X and
my first concert was Iron Maiden, and that was like a whole different experience because it's more than like a concert. It's like a performance, you know, like their mascot Eddie comes out and he like rips his heart out, and it's like the most heavy metal thing you can
theatrical.
It's pretty theatrical.
Yeah.
And then after it was Guns N' Roses, and it's just like it's cool to feel the energy and to feel like these songs that you love like come to life, you know. So it's mostly the energy though. It's like, you know, I can obviously listen to these songs thousands of times, but it's like, wow, I'm here. You know, and that's the greatest feeling.
And dude, I just want to like replicate that feeling for like kids like you who like want to like come see our band. And it's just like, and now you get to see it's not just old heads up there rocking. It's like new blood that's like, I want to bring it to, you know, this generation. You know, I'm just like you. We can, you know, we can do the same thing. And hopefully we inspire a bunch of bands in the same way as that. And we kind of like build up a community of like-minded bands. I mean, that's like what Lollapalooza was. That's like what, you know, That's what that whole movement was about, is like all bands with like similar like alternative ideals who want to like come together and like bring live music to a bunch of people in full swing.
Yeah, and
So
festivals like Lollapalooza still somewhat have that, because I think it's this year there. I mean, of course, you need a lot of other artists there that are different, popular in different parts of the radio, parts of the music world, because that's going to bring in fans. But then I see it's like, okay, what heavy bands are going to be there? Last year they brought Bandmate in out of nowhere, and I was like, that doesn't really make sense, but okay, and it was awesome. And now this year they're bringing Hanabi in from Japan. And it's like, okay, they're just bringing in all these different bands that people are able to get into and really enjoy, and you get this big melting pot of fans that come in and just get to enjoy it. And you guys essentially have that in a singular aspect that's just within the band, but you guys can absolutely have this spearheaded point to create this overall, somewhat movement of certain bands, maybe younger bands that are coming through, where they're influenced by sounds that are what they're listening to right now, what is new, but also maybe what they were listening to back when they were real little kids and their parents were always having control of the radio, always having control of the stereo, playing whatever music they were, because that's kind of how I got started with all this stuff too. If it wasn't for my dad constantly blasting, Van Halen, ZZ Top, Rush, Electric Light Orchestra, I never would get into like the heavier stuff, because well, I never really heard much of it outside of that. And then it just led to it. And it's really cool too, what you said, Sebastian, where it's, you're able to get in the same kind of feel with your dad, with the bands that he likes, going and see those shows, more like those performances, especially if you're talking about Iron Maiden, and feel the energy behind it and get inspired to also create that energy and create that overall idea that allows people to connect with your music and people connect at live shows across generations. Again, I keep saying it, but that's something that is really rare to see a lot of these times, and you guys have something for it. That's not something to take for granted because of the creativity you guys have with your music overall.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We're trying to take it to as many people as possible, like this year and
Forever.
Yeah. I mean, that's really something that we've never like fully like sink our teeth into is touring, because we've done like small little runs just here and there, but like this is going to be the first like fully fledged tour that we're going to have, and it's going to be so exciting to bring this music to like all these cities that we've never been to before. But so many people are like, damn, that's so special to them, because they're coming to my city, even if it's with Chevelle or Sevendust or whatever. Like, I don't know, we'll make a lot of fans there, and I'm excited to go back. We're planning to do like a headlining tour after Sevendust and just like hit all those markets again, and probably even more. So yeah, it's just exciting.
And that is exciting. Okay, let's dive into this whole tour aspect to it, because touring with Chevelle and then Sevendust right after, that is a huge thing. How did you guys get on these tours? That's always a great thing I love to hear. I always like to hear the stories about how you get connected with these bands, how you get on these tours, how this all happens, because then we can connect with you better. And then it's like, we want to see these guys succeed. Let's go! And then we can get other people's fans to, get into you guys. So how'd you get on these tours overall?
So Clint from Sevendust was just a fan first. He kind of reached out to us in our DMs, and I think he was talking about the song When You Look at Me, and he was like, dude, this song fucking rips, man. Like, y'all are so good. And he actually was the one who hooked up Seb with the PRS endorsement. And he's like, man, I'm gonna turn the guys on to y'all because y'all are so fucking cool. And we're like, whoa, like that's insane. Thank you, first of all. And then he just hit us with the do you want to come on our tour? Do you want to open for us? And so it was
Fucking
very
yeah.
It's like,
What?
so that was really, really, really cool. I feel like
it was very organic. It didn't feel like we like weaseled our way in there at all. It was like it was so like this just an older band who's just like a fan of a newer band and wants to take them out. That's just like classic, exactly what we wanted to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that like our music spoke for us in that sense and was just like, here's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to convince anyone, but if anyone wants to like latch on to that, or if anyone sees that and wants to help us out, then we're more than willing.
Totally. And then the Chevelle thing happened where so they only had Tiger Cub on the tour, and so there was kind of some room for us to come on. And I think we were pitched to them by our management, and they're like super choosy about, they all have to check off, all three dudes kind of have to check off on, or I think it's just two dudes because they're brothers, but
Yeah, it's just two now.
yeah. So they have to, check off on the bands, and they were just super into it, and they're like, yeah, let's take them on. So yeah, so that's kind of how both of those happened.
Sweet. We got really busy really fast.
Yeah.
Because it was like, wow, we're gonna leave for Sevendust in 3 or 4 months. We got some time. And then it's like, oh no, now we're leaving for Chevelle in a month. So we gotta buy a van and we gotta move out of our house and we gotta start fucking rehearsing. So that we're doing. We leave in like 2 weeks and we're like halfway moved out of our house and we have our fully like renovated van that we just bought and
That these guys worked on.
we fucking worked on, dude. We're like all YouTube videos up, like sweating out in the California summer heat, like
drilling
pulling
holes
wires
into
and
the
shit, and like
bottom of the van
it's
floor.
dope, man.
It's
It's
great.
like that's like what I want.
I always love seeing bands post those videos about like, yeah, we bought a van, now we got to renovate this whole entire thing. We're doing it ourselves, so watch this. And you can always see some of the craziest stuff happen. Like the guys in the band Avoid did that, and it was some of the most ridiculous stuff I've ever seen bands do when it comes to vans. They pulled it off. I was like, Jesus Christ. But what stands out the most about these tours is the fact that your music spoke for itself. Where, of course, in today's day and age, just the way that there's so much competition, not only for, trying to get on these tours, but also from a music standpoint, just trying to get your music heard. People are constantly pitching as much as possible. They're like, hey, get this, or use connections in order to get on certain tours. That's just the way the world works. But the fact that your guys' music spoke for yourself, where Sevendust slid into your DMs, or I say Clint slid into your DMs, not to just flirt with you guys, to be like, hey, you guys want to go out on tour with us? When it comes to Sevendust, what better band to go out on tour with than Sevendust? Yeah, Sevendust definitely has a heavier sound than you guys, but when it comes to, touring with a band, especially going on the road, maybe one of your first times out there, really getting a feel for it and having a band that's going to potentially help you through all that, who better than Sevendust? Sevendust has the most amount of respect of any band around. And when it comes to Chevelle, just the overall transition of sound from you guys to Chevelle in terms of how the concert going experience is going to be, it fits so well in there where fans can just be like, okay, we're going to see Return to Dust open up the show. Let's just see what's going on. And from the first song, they're already going to be vibing to it. They're already having a good time, whether they're, the young ones that are wanting to go absolutely crazy, have a blast, the dads that are bringing their kids there, or the kids that are bringing their dads there. It doesn't matter. It's you guys have the perfect, two bands to be opening for the rest of the year, to really not only show everybody else who you guys are, but at the same time, when it comes to larger tours, learn from some of the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I've especially heard that from Sevendust, that they are a fucking killer live band. Still to this day, so fucking tight and good. And I don't know who said it, but they were like, you guys are going to get your asses kicked on that tour, because you're going to watch them and you're going to be like, wow, we got to be like that.
Oh,
So
wow.
I want stuff like that.
Yeah.
I want to be able to learn from the best and be able to see something that's like at the top tier of their craft, or see someone at the top tier of their craft and be like, we got to learn from this. We got to be like that, So I hope that they kick our ass. It's going to be an awesome learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then maybe it's better that you're starting out with Chevelle than Sevendust, so you can at least maybe get some of that flow going for yourselves. Because then when Sevendust goes on, I think it was Chad Kroeger from Nickelback who said the one band never wanted to follow was Sevendust, because how are you supposed to follow Sevendust? It's like I've seen Sevendust open for a couple of bands, and it's just even no matter how good you are, it's super duper hard to just try and follow that. I saw Alter Bridge try and follow Sevendust as a headliner. It's Sevendust still had you guys. They still did. But it's just, everyone knows what, especially going to those shows, what Sevendust is going to bring. Everyone knows the expectation and the quality of the show is going to be incredibly high. And the consistency behind that is the key for them. Now, when it comes to you guys opening the show, you already know this. And you're going to be able to get out with Chevelle beforehand to really get a feel for it. So you're going to know how you can bring it, see Sevendust play for the first time, see them kick your ass, and then learn every single day what you can do better to make sure that when you guys go out on your headlining run following it, that you're kicking everybody else's ass as well.
Yeah, totally. That's the goal, man. We want to be just like the most respected bands in the industry, and the only way you do that is to cut your teeth and do it exactly how they did. It's just tour, 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 keep releasing good music, and just be consistent with it. I mean, they did not build their name overnight, you know. It was like it took years and years and years. So we know that we have to do the same thing, and I think we're coming out just hot and heavy. I mean, we rehearse all the time. We try and make every show our best show, you know. So
Well, I guess the best way to ask if that's already going well is you guys played Rockville and Sonic Temple this year. So what was that experience like, especially as you're leading into going to Incarceration, Large Life, and Aftershock later in the year?
It was awesome. I mean, it was our first time on festival stages, and we didn't really know what to expect because, both of them were like pretty early time slots, but there was a pretty substantial amount of people out there, and it was just really cool to see, there was still lots of people that were there for us and were excited to see us because, we're still a very, very new band, and, a lot of these places we've never been to before. So we were a little like questioning like whether or not, there was going to be just a good response, and it was really good.
we
And
played like 15 minutes after doors at Sonic Temple. Like it was
Yeah.
like so early. Like
but there was
people had their
probably like
Starbucks in their hands, dude.
there's probably like 300 or 400 people still. Like it was nice.
Yeah.
Um
and a good amount of people front row who were like singing our songs, and like
Yeah.
some girl fucking
Yeah.
sobbing like in the front. It was awesome to see. It was so cool.
yeah. So
Starbucks and sobbing, a great combination to start out any festival day.
Oh yeah.
I think that's like a Taylor Swift song or something.
Yeah.
It probably is a Taylor Swift song, but I don't think Taylor Swift fans are going to be watching Taylor Swift at 12:15 in the afternoon at the beginning of a festival, of course, because, Taylor Swift's going to be in a freaking stadium and not playing until like 8 o'clock at night. But who knows? They still might have Starbucks, but they're all going to be sobbing at some point. But we need to see everyone sobbing during Return to Dust and just being like, this is just so moving to me. It's a beautiful thing. Give it some time, guys. It might happen. It might just happen.
I dream for it, man.
I dream for it too, man.
But it's still nuts, the fact that, still 400 people showed up. People are giving you the time of day, even that early on. But, cutting your teeth at a festival, saying if that's how you're going to start out with, okay, now as time goes on at these festivals, people are going to get to know you more. People are going to be, starting to get to hear your name more. So you're going to end up playing, maybe some later slots. Maybe you're playing around 2 o'clock. Maybe you're playing around 3 o'clock. Maybe you're playing, maybe not on the main stage, one of the side stages, and you're going on around 5 or 6, where you're going to get a lot more people to show up because, of course, as time goes on in the festival, more people come in, more people start wandering around and have a chance to listen to your music. But of course, you're starting out exactly where you started out with everything else along with this journey in music, with these festivals. You're starting out kind of at the bottom, the earliest slots, and then you can work your way up later through the day. And it's not going to hurt either, especially if you learn how to, work a lot of this stuff while watching Chevelle and Sevendust. That's going to be a huge opportunity for you guys, not only to show more people your music, but again, like we said, to learn from the best.
Yeah, for sure. Said it exactly right.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And one other thing I want to jump into specifically is your music as well, just because with the brand new, album that came out back in May, of course, people are getting to hear it, and now a lot of people are going to hear it live on these different tours. So when it came out over the past couple of months, what has the overall reception been like for this album?
It's been great, man. I mean, God, what do I even touch on? I mean, it seems like it's cool to see that everyone kind of has their particular favorite. Like there's not like one that really stands out. It's like, people are like, oh man, I really like Anyway I Die. Like, dude, I really love, like About the World. Like that's crazy. That's a crazy song. Or like, dude, Face Down's gotta be the best song on the record. It's like, okay, it's dope. Like that's nice to hear that there's so many favorites, and so it's been great. It's been, yeah, really.
I think it also kind of like solidified us as being a serious band, like putting out an LP like that. It's like you really you get a lot of credit putting out I don't know, just a quality body of work with like a bunch of songs that in order mean something and are chronological and are all have the same sound, and it's good sound and like good like artwork to tie it together and music videos to tie it together. Releasing that album really like opened up a lot of doors for us just in the past couple months, just because it was like this band's serious. They're willing to put in all the work that it takes to put out like a really make a really good first impression on fans with like a quality debut album. And we had vinyl to support it, and we had like t-shirts and like this a small but DIY marketing strategy to go behind it. And that's I mean, with the resources that we have, that's like I feel like we did the best with that. And that means a lot to not only fans, but like people in the music industry who see that and they're like, wow, these guys without a lot of help are putting out quality stuff. Like imagine if they had help. And so we're getting a lot of support like just from these tours, and just in the future, like you'll see as we put out more and more music, it's going to have a lot more support from other facets of the music industry that is going to really help, I feel like, propel our band and get in front of more ears that really want to hear it. And yeah, I think it's just this record's gonna be the start of like moving a lot of mountains for us. And I think the record two is gonna whenever that comes out, we really just want to focus on this one right now. But I think that by the time we're releasing the next couple songs or batches of music, I think it's going to be a much different story, and we're going to be a much different place, especially after these tours.
And probably much different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, going on tour, you're going to learn new experience, you're going to see new things. And as you guys continue to work together and continue to grow together, of course, those changes are going to happen. But Maddie, one thing you just said stood out to me a lot, and that was talking about releasing an LP where it's, you're coming out here releasing it. And a lot of people in the industry and along with fans, well, are now seen as like, this is a legit band and they're putting in a great amount of time and effort and work to create quality music. Because especially in today's day and age with music, we're seeing so many artists focusing on the singles, focusing on the EPs, which makes sense too, just given the way that streaming is. But given the way that platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts are, specifically TikTok, where bands are trying to hit on that viral moment, hit on that one hook, and then all of a sudden it's like these constant singles are coming out and it's just whatever's really trendy, whatever's really popular at the time. It doesn't necessarily speak that that artist at the times has this longevity potential to them, where if they're just constantly going on what's popular on, July 2nd, 2024, and then it's completely different on July 23rd, 2024. But what you guys did with that LP is you showed the amount of work you put in, you showed the quality of the music that's there, and now people are able to grasp onto it and actually take it a lot more seriously than other artists that are just posting on TikTok all the time or having a single come out every every 3 weeks or every month just to try and stay relevant on some of those streaming platforms. You guys went a little bit of a different approach with it, more of a classic approach to it, but seeing how the industry overall has reacted to you and has gotten the support behind it due to the music and due to the way that you promoted it, I think that you absolutely hit it on the nail on the head with that one. Like, that kind of shocked me when you said that, but it all made sense.
Yeah. I think it's definitely hard to know what you're doing in the moment is the right thing. But I want people at the end of the day to have like a genuine, obvious like connection to our music, but I don't want it to just be a flash in the pan. I mean, we're not trying to like hit some kind of like trendy moment. I mean, we've built this thing up for 5 years. It's not something that we're like in the business of like getting quick success off of. If we were trying to do that, then we're idiots for spending all this time like making this music and trying to revive a genre that's kind of dying, So I think that we're in the business of like trying to make like long-term fans and trying to give people like something real and genuine that they can connect to from the first time they hear it to 30 years later, whenever they're still listening to it. Because I think that's what really That's what's really important. And what I love about music is the bands that I listened to whenever I was 16, I'm still listening to, and I'll probably still be listening to for the next, 20, 30 years, or until I'm dead, So I want to replicate that same feeling for people. And how you do it is not, trying to ride trends or trying to like capture that flash in the pan moment. And also that's just a lost cause anyways. I mean, you're gonna like hurt yourself and your music and just the way that your brain works if you're trying to constantly place your value on immediate success and gratification. It's like you got to trade what you want now for what you want in the future. And yeah, that's been true for us since we started. We traded what we wanted then, which was, we wanted to put out music 5 years ago, but it just wasn't ready. So we took a long time and we waited until now. And
until the world asked.
I need you to agree with me. You're kind of just staring blankly.
No,
but,
you're saying everything you need to say.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, good.
So yeah, man,
you're
you're saying everything you need to say, but it also stands out to the same point where I think about other artists like that, when I was, let's say 15, 16 years old, like you said, what artists were like the popular ones at that time and the ones that I listened to. Now the popular ones at the time, if people were really into them, I'm talking about, or the pop artists at that time, sometimes more the EDM stuff, more the dubstep stuff. If you go to from 2010 to 2024, if I talk to the same people that love that stuff, would they still like it? Yeah, but they're really not connected to that music anymore. They're kind of just hopping on whatever's popular. And those artists, maybe they show up every now and again where it's like, oh, I remember that song, or it's part of like some like blast from the past night at whatever local bar you're at. But then there's the music that you listen to when you're 16. It's like, for me, I'm 29 now. My favorite band from when I was 15, 16 years old is still my favorite band today. I love seeing them live. I love listening to them all the time. And I'm never going to like stop doing that, even as my music tastes sometimes change, sometimes get heavier, sometimes a little bit lighter stuff, whatever it might be. But that still stays the same. And I still remember that connection because the music is just that good and has that high a quality behind it. Where you guys, could release this stuff 5 years ago, but you were working on it consistently to make sure it came out the way it did. In the moment, maybe it would have been worth it to put out times. You never know. But by not doing that and actually going about the way you did, you created music that, especially from when I was listening through it, you have that like grunge backing to it. It has a lot of Alice in Chains, feel, emotion to it. But the beauty behind it is what I saw also in The Warning as well with their new album, Keep Me Fed, where they had their core sound and you guys have it as well. But when you expand on that, you don't lose sight of what is also at the core as well. Because listening through a couple of songs like Black Road, I'm like, I was impressed because all of a sudden you get that early 90s grunge feel, but all of a sudden you get to the chorus, I'm like, okay, you still have that kind of core in there, but now it's like a heavier 2010 alternative rock flair with the same kind of instrumentals and vocal pattern that feel through it, and it's bigger. You go to Live Like This, I thought, how did you get outlaw country mixed with grunge to then Shine Down anthemic mixed with grunge? It made no sense to me, but you still see the core is there, the creativity is there, and I knew it was a Return to Dust song. When you get to When You Look at Me, I thought something similar where you still had the grunge roots in there, but then also I'm like, wait a minute, is this also grunge roots mixed with like hair metal ballad? How the hell is this all kind of intertwining with each other? And that's just 3 songs. The rest of the album had the exact same similarity where that alternative grunge core was still there, but your ability to expand beyond that and not only show much more of a sound beyond it, but also show that beyond this, there is even more to be had. There is so much there that I just kept thinking, my God, this is something that people really need to check out. People really need to get behind this because the quality is there, but it's not only what you've done, but it shows where you guys could go with this, and the possibility is incredibly endless at this point.
Yeah.
We're really stoked on like we said, we're trying to focus on this record, but we're really stoked on a lot of the new stuff that and the new directions that I think are possible because of this first record, because we've covered so much ground and really the way that we write is very like I don't know if succinct is the right word, but I want to use that word, so I'll use the word succinct. But it feels very like each song kind of has its own moment, and we don't like typically try to write into a certain style or anything like that. I think that we definitely try to make unique experiences with each song. And I think that all of our records in the future will kind of represent that, and it'll be a roller coaster of different unique experiences with each song. So
I just love the surprise that we could give to anyone, because it's like with that record, or with our first record, it's like we could really, like, next album could be a whole acoustic album, or it could be a whole album of like bludgeoning rock songs, or it can be like super heavy metal, or it can be like whatever. Like we've taken all ballads, like we could take it so many different directions.
Yeah.
And I guess really what to tease what's coming is like it's a mix of all of that. It's just like I always want our records to like take you on a journey. So
yeah,
it's just cool. We can explore all those different possibilities besides like synthesizers. You know what I mean? Fuck synth.
Yeah, no synthesizers.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
I'll say, give it like another 5-10 years. All of a sudden, it's like, hey, I found a cool idea. We're gonna use a synthesizer for this. Does it work? I don't know, but we're gonna give it a shot anyway to see if it does. But that's the beauty of your music, especially with this first LP, because it has the core of what you guys want in there, but it expanded so much on that. At the same time, it makes us wonder how much further can you guys go? The surprise is continually able to be there. So we're expecting something unique. We're expecting something beautiful. We're expecting something that could be anything and all, but it's going to be you guys. I get the same feeling from The Warning. It's kind of like when I listen to Falling in Reverse, when I listen to Bring Me the Horizon. You never know exactly what's going to come from it, but at the end of the day, you know it's going to be a song by whatever band it is. Return to Dust, Warning, Falling Verse, Bring Me the Horizon, and it's gonna have that core to it, but you never know, again, what direction the song is actually gonna go. Mm-hmm. You just have to be there, open for the ride, and see what happens. But that's the beauty about you guys being able to go with Chevelle and Sevendust, is people are gonna be able to experience this and really go for the ride with you guys and experience what this could be, all while still fully understanding where the sound is coming from and connecting to it, because that core sound you guys have is so heavily present and intact. It's something that bands strive to find. And on your first LP, you guys have it down. Like, damn.
Oh, man. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
It's a beautiful thing. Well, one other thing before now, you're going into the brand new tour with Chevelle. You're going into Incarceration. You're going into Sevendust. You're going to Loud Life Aftershock. Now the album's been out for a little bit, and then these tours come through. What is the goal going forward now? Like, what is the thing that you really want to achieve going forward? Maybe until the next release, or just in general, doesn't really matter. But what are you guys looking forward to coming up?
Dude, I think, I was thinking this earlier, and I'm glad that you kind of asked this, because I feel like it kind of resurfaces what I was thinking. But, I think we're in the business of creating memories, and whether it's the music on the album or the live show, like, we just want the experience to really stick out and to last a long time, and to be able to connect, so moving forward is just lots of touring and lots of live shows, and then hopefully early next year we can start rolling out some new stuff. But we're really just focusing on this first record and really squeezing all the juice out of the lemon that we can, and yeah, so that's kind of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a really good way to put it, not gonna lie. Every time I ask that question, it's always interesting to see what people are gonna say, just because you never know exactly what the mindset is, but just the openness of it is always a beautiful thing. So you guys are like, it just seems open to the experience, see what happens, enjoy every minute of it. I mean, you guys get to go out and tour with some of the best bands out there this year still. And then who knows what's going to happen after it. Just enjoy the ride and keep having fun with it.
Yeah, man. So it's what we're always here to do.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
Just have fun with it.
Well, then that brings up my final question. It's something I like to ask every band I bring on the podcast. And it helps us not only get to know the music that you guys love, but also gets us to check out something that we may have never heard of. So I've got 1, 2, 3 of you guys, so I'm looking for one each. So collectively, between the three of you, outside of naming Return to Dust, because that's you guys, can you give me 3 bands that you guys absolutely love that you would love to see more people get behind?
There's this underground band called Metallica.
That's a hard one.
That is a hard one. Lacuna.
Lacuna, Plug the Boys.
Check out Lacuna. They are a fucking great band.
They're like
It's okay,
hardcore. They're just hardcore from SoCal.
One of the great
but-
guitar players.
but
Seriously.
but more melodic. It's really cool. They're our boys. We toured with them up the West Coast a couple months ago, and they're just awesome dudes, and they make some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a good answer. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know.
I don't know. I gotta think still. What do you got?
I mean, they're really popular, but Fontaines, like that's
Yeah.
they're getting there. They're getting to the point to where it's like silly to even say that you know,
It's
check
like,
them
oh,
out,
shit.
you know.
Yeah.
But that is that's a great band.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think like Deus Visages, I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
DUX VISAGES, Deus Visages. I think that's how you say it. It's a really hard name.
It is a really tough name.
Imagine trying to say that in a bar with like,
With
you know,
loud music.
going, a bunch of people talking. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what you just said. That good band. And I really like the band Money from Oklahoma. They have like just a super heavy like stoner rock, the hardcore kind of vibe, and yeah, they just got some really cool stuff. I wish that they were more active, but you know, that's kind of all the bands you like that are like kind of starting up. You know, I just wish they were more active. But yeah,
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it on the south side and plug the Texas band Narrowhead. They're awesome.
There's also that band, Bleed.
Yeah, Bleed's really cool. I was thinking
really
Bleed
cool.
too. We'll give you a couple.
I'll say I asked for 3. You guys gave me 6. Yeah, 6. I put them 7. I'm like, wait. Return to Dust is
Oh.
7.
Give you 6.
shit, I thought it was 3 per person. That's why I gave 3. Sorry about that.
Oh no, dude, you're good. There's times I've asked that for like 3 total from like, you know, collectively, and it's like everyone gives me 3. There was one time I asked that, I got like 15 suggestions. I was just like, now how am I gonna clip this into a video? This is gonna be a little nuts. 6 is still somewhat doable at times, so we'll have some fun with that.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I think it pretty much
That's pretty
wraps up what we like and the bands that we want to see like succeed like alongside us.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that happens as you guys continue to succeed. They get success as well. Well, guys, I do want to thank you for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate it. So we're going to close out with 3 things. So first things first, when it comes to Return to Dust, when it comes to making sure you get to know about them, follow along with them on social media, watch their YouTube videos, go and stream their music, and check them out when they're going to be on the road with Chevelle and with Sevendust later in 2024. And when they're going to be doing their own headlining run after that. So what you're going to do is go to the description of the podcast where it says Find Return to Dust online. Links and labels are going to be there for everything. So all you have to do is go down there, click your favorite one, follow them, stream their music, go get some merch, and go make sure you check them out live, because why would you not do that? That's a real bad thing if you don't.
I mean, I like the way this guy thinks, man.
Yeah. So I'm going to be your own personal Google on this. Like, you don't have to look anything up. Just go down there. And now, gentlemen, it's time for number 2. So whenever we guest on the podcast, I enjoy having the podcast. I tend to make a certain promise as a way to say thank you. And I would love to have, continue to support the band in the future. And I know I'm going to see you guys a Louder Than Life. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get to see you guys when you play with Chevelle, but it's going to be one of those 2 days. So when I see you perform live for the first time, I'll be in the crowd. I'll be having a blast. But I'm going to do my best to try and find you guys. So I can go up, give you the big old hello. But the most important thing about that is first round's on me.
I fucking love this guy, dude.
What's up?
Yeah.
I don't even care if my job's not giving me enough money for this. We're still gonna, somehow use it in the expense account, even though it's my vacation. I don't care.
Love it, dude. Oh,
Yo.
man.
Hell yeah.
Dude, you would be in my dream blunt rotation. That is there.
I'm gonna take that as a win for the day. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to tip your waitress. We'll be there at Louder Than Life. So, woo! Now it's time for number 3, guys. I cannot end this podcast by saying goodbye. It was way too much fun, and I made the promise to you guys. Plus, I would love to be back on again in the future. So, is this goodbye? Nah. This is, I'll see you later.
Yeah, man.
See you later,
See you
man.
later. That was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, folks, my interview with Maddie Graham and Sebastian the band returned to dust, and now it's time for Kevin's final thoughts. So, this should be pretty simple, honestly. When they were talking about touring with Chevelle and Sevendust and how they got on the Sevendust tour, the fact that the music itself was what spoke for them is incredible, because that's how you know as a band, not only is, your ability to get out there work, but your music is not chasing trends. Your music has a lot of substance behind it that will create the legs for it to continue to grow as time goes on. I mean, these guys, like I said, when you listen through them, they have that alternative grunge style that will definitely reflect the 90s at the core. But when they're able to do is they're able to branch out so many other places, see and try so many other things, and you're going to experience so much more in their music that it's going to continue to grow. And by releasing that LP as well, especially in the music industry today when so many people are focused on singles and EPs and chasing trends, these guys are out there doing their own thing, and it solidifies them as a band that is to be reckoned with and has a lot of substance behind them. Now, if you're a new band that's coming out there, it's like, oh, we put out an album, that should solidify us. You have to make sure the music speaks for itself too. That is the key to making sure this happens. And then the exponential growth that Return to Dust is seen will be returned to you. So make sure you support Return to Dust. Go and see them play live with Sevendust, Chevelle, or any of the DWP festivals, or when they're going to be doing a headlining tour later next year at some point. Also, be sure to go down to the description of the podcast where it says find Return to Dust online. Links levels for everything are down there. So you can support them. You can go check them out. You can follow them on social media. You can listen to their music, and you can go see them live. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on the Chord Progression Podcast on YouTube. It's right down here. You can follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, like these episodes. New episodes every single Tuesday and Thursday with some of the best bands out there and the best bands that are coming up as well. Also, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate the conversation today. And everybody else, go support them. On that note, that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you for watching, listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of these episodes. Big, healthy, and hearty. See ya! Yeah!